Okay, good morning. Morning, kids. How is my audio so far? Jessica, hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. Walo so far. I have 8. Good morning. Si Giselle, si Ronelo, si Jessica, si Giselle, si Ronelo, si... Okay, si Jessica o si Jessica. Si ara di ay gyapon. Si Ginaline, si Marciano, si Jamaica, si Virginia, si Giselle. Good morning ninyo tanan. Si Doditha. How is my audio? Kumusta? Ako ang audio. Adongra, is it clear? Okay raingan si Jessica. Okay, 12 so far. Si Albert naabot na. Abot, 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 abot. Come on, come all. Na ako ibaligya dining magic magic. Adelpha, good morning. Si Genevieve. Yang i-mention si Maurice. Ginaline, dungog ra kayo. That's good to hear. Uy, kadjat ha ako na itake. Minars. Hello. Morning, Minars. What's up? Gamiton ni mo. Tuwa pa ni Mimi. Wala pa na na-process. Dili man good ang kana siyang unsingan ining dili pa muhikay ang asesor kay nagbalhin kuno sila. Oh, murag dili pa pa. Sige lang, ako ingnon si Mimi. Tawagan ti kag balik ko niya. Ah, ah. Ah, sige, sige. Pero saan mo kinahanglanan na? Or photocopy mo gikinahanglan or ang kuan? Ang original. Ang problema kay ang original lang ipangita. Sige, sige, update ka. Kano saan mo kinahanglan na? Okay, imuan ang mo lagi na ilahang kung ano niya mga is. Oh, pero tanaw nila ang original. Sige, sige, ako ang inan. Sige, sige. Okay, bye-bye. Sorry for that. Okay? Pila na? 20? Okay, sugod ta. So, utangan pa muna ko, guys, ha? You still need to submit your outputs. Nganong wala pa man, hala, sige, explain. Comment your explanations. How come up to this time? It's been, I think, 2 or 3 weeks na. Ang last na akong ipangayo. Output 04C. Katong consolidated na by major. Why is it nga wala pa man ako nakuha karon? Nobody submitted it yet. Okay? It doesn't have to be perfect, okay? It's okay to commit mistakes, pero it's good to consult with your colleagues para nga makabalo pod mo what to avoid. Sa asa naman ron, sige kuno, paningog kuno mo. Hapit na maupos ang semester, wa pa kay ta kasugod sa topic. Asa na? Wala pa naningog. I'm waiting for your response. Sige, good morning tanan. Good morning Fernando, Chaikosa, Jane, Jeneline, Danilyn, Cirilo, John Felix. Tingog be, asa naman? Sige na, comment. We are still waiting for the other sir nga wa pa nakahimo aron dili magulhos og pass. Okay. Manindot kay ni kay ang uban mao'y rason. Sige. I am giving you until Monday. Okay? So it's okay nga dili complete. Syempre, alang graduhan ako tong wala. So by Monday ha, I will expect nga Monday next week puhon, okay, all topics will be in na. Okay? Again, Monday next week kung sa manang pizza na. That's 16. 16. Okay? Monday next week ta, November 16. So that's the deadline. Okay? Because I have to proceed to the next topics na. Okay? So padayon na ta. Yeah, mag-abot-abot ning uban, mag-anam po ning kawala. Okay? So Lunes. So now what we're going to talk about is unsa may inyong isubmit by the end of the semester. So what you are seeing right now sa screen is actually the research proposal template. Sometimes we call it the research. Sometimes we call it a thesis outline. Okay? When I say research proposal or thesis outline, it means the same thing. Okay? Claro? Ha? So again ha, thesis outline o research proposal is basically the same. So, kani, nakaset up na ni siya. As you can see, ako pagamian ha. Kompleto na gid ni. Oh. Okay? Kompleto na ni siya. So, ato ning i-go over. This is the format. So, I will be sending this one to you, including ang margins ani niya. So, pati ang margins na niya, automatic kining formatting is already automated. So if you try to look at the margins, mao na gining margins ha, ang top is 1.3, left 1.5, ang bottom 1, ang right 1, ang gutter position ug uban pa. Ayaw na pag-usban ninyo. Automatic na ni siya. So once you're working with this, okay, the only thing that you need is i-preserve ninyo, i-save as ninyo nga file. Okay, this is a template man siya. So, i-save as ninyo and then you plug in your values na. So, i-rewrite na lang ninyo. So, what to expect? Kini siya, dito na to ha, para makita ninyo ang outline. Ako ibalik dire, sige nahan mo mutanaw. Kana binuang ragod na. Okay, basig maninood mo. So, i-sketch niyo inyong biographical sketch descriptions inyong kaugalingon. Okay, so, kani, this is now the table of contents. Now, ang table of contents is basically automatically generated. So, automatic na ni. Wala na mo'y buhaton dinhi sa table of contents. So, what you put there sa uban ng mga parts ninyo, automatic mo ari na sa table of contents. So, now, unsa may format? You need a cover page, the title page, the approval page, your biographical sketch. Acknowledgement is optional. Then the table of contents, mo na ni siya. Then introduction. What are the parts of the introduction? Background of the study, significance of the study, statement of the problem, the objectives, scope and limitations, then time and place of the study. Then review of literature. Then ang review of literature, this will depend on the topic. So ito lang ning ilis-ilisan later on. Then after the review of literature, you have materials and methods. So ang materials and methods po, lain-lain po mo og topic. So when you change the values later on dito, automatic mo change ni siya. So we will try. Right now, what you see is title of the first subtopic, sub-subtopic 0, sub-subtopic 1, sub-subtopic 2, and so on. Title of second subtopic. So, like I said, template ni siya. So it will be easier for you. Okay? So, title of the second subtopic, and so on. Then references, then appendices. So as you can see, ikabot diri sa last part na ang appendices, then morning reference, examples sa references, mo ni siya ang APA, American Psychological Association nga style sa citation sa slightly modified nga APA. Unsa ni? Sir, ang horticulture nga major kay nakapas na si Monica Adriatico Albios ang nipas. Kano sa ni gipas, Ginalyn? Let me see. Daw. Let me see kriyat ha. Huwag mo bagid ni. Monica, diyan na. Kita na ko. Yeah. So, ako pa nang i-go over later. Okay. Acknowledge. Yeah, got it. Okay. Padayon ta ha. So, Moni. paatras ta padong tababaw. References. Then so basically wala pa ni siya unod, gibalik-balik lang na the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog and so on and so forth. So example, kinsa mo to example ganiha. Monica Albios, so for example. Ano say middle name ni Monica Albios? So kung first thing that you need to do, okay, syempre ilis-ilisa na to ni. Okay? Ilisa na to ni. Unya kini if you've noticed tungod ni sa mga sections nga gipambuhat nako. So ayo lang naglabti that will not print out. Okay? Yeah, I got it. Okay. Unsay middle name ni Monica Albios? Paliw ko na ko. So example, Going back ani. So syempre ato na lang ning ilis-ilisan. So title in uppercase and bold letters, inverse pyramid style. So unsa may title ninyo? Let me see your output be. Diyan naman gid ni. Oops, for a while ha. Diyara i-submit na. So for example, mo na kung tahay kani tolerance of cacti to survive in wet and rainy season. So for example, mo na inyong title. Okay, kung kunuhay lang. So you just copy and paste this one. Niya human atong ibutang dinhi. Okay? Right click pwede na tag paste values. Dapat all caps ni siya. So kini pad-on na po din. Wait. First is para dili maguba, guys. Okay? You need to save this as. Okay? I-save as ani ang file. Okay? So save as unsa inyohang file name for example. So save as menta o so tayo si Monica kinsa atong daog-daogon si Monica Adriatico Albios. So Monica thesis version 1. Ani lang for example. So i-save as ninyo para ang original nga file ninyo is not affected. So si Monica lang day atong example. Dayon we'll find the work of Monica asa man si Monica diara. So ato lang ning i-type the effect of organic kani. Kopyahon ko lang ni topic pa ni. So I'll try to come up effect of organic foliar fertilizer made by malunggay leaves applied on pepper crops. That's the organic fertilizer applied on sa scientific name sa malunggay? Moringa oleifera. Okay? So ang title kunuhay na to here would be something like, it would look like this. Naka-caps lock ta. So, malunggay. O niya. Moringa oleifera. I don't know if this is right. Sakto ba ning spelling? Yan, naka-italics dapat ang scientific names. Don't forget about that. Oleifera. Malunggay leaves as foliar fertilizer. Kunahay lang niya. Next line for fertilizer. As foliar fertilizer for pepper. Ano si scientific name sa pepper? Tatag scientific name sa pepper. Normally, we use the scientific names, diba? Pwede ra gud pud og wala. Scientific names, by the way, are required for crops or organisms nga we are not very familiar. Pero malunggay, actually, we can do away with Moringa oleifera because everyone knows malunggay diri sa atua. But if you publish your work elsewhere and people from other countries will try to read your output, may tabo di sila kasabot unsay malunggay. So it's good practice to use the scientific name. Pepper, gay ko scientific name pepper kasi kabalo. Pepper. Scientific name sa pepper. Unsa man nga pepper day daghan man. Ngita sa ko ha. Scientific name sa pepper. Example lang. Unsa man nga pepper nga paminta man nga pepper. Capsicum anum. Okay. Basig mo ni mo but pasabot. Capsicum sakto day capsicum anum. Capsicum ani ana na siya. Ya, human naka-italics na siya. Malunggay leaves as foliar fertilizer applied to pepper. Ana. So, di ba? Medyo awkward pa ni ato ning ana. Ana something. Dol-dol na tinuod. So, example lang ni ha. Example lang ni. Dayon, of course, you will change this one to Monica Adriatico Albios ba to? Was it Albios? Let me see that one again. Was it Albios? Monica Adriatico Albios. Now, pwede ra pud atong i-copy para everything will be i-copy na to and then gi-control C na to. I type control C and then control ay na lang. Ano na lang na siya para i-paste na lang. So, Bachelor of Science in Agriculture, major in yun lang ng ilis-ilisan din eh. 'Di ba? Horticulture. Section 2A for example. Okay, ano lang. Ilisan na po ni karon submit ninyo og December 2020. You know the drill. You know the drill. Okay? Okay, again ha. Save as ang unahon. So, sige lang, kabalo na mo. Dito lang ko. Ang title na po dire, inyo ra po ibalik ra po dinhi. So, pwede ra po ni inyong i-copy na diha. Niya human i-paste po ninyo dinhi. Alright? Ana. Diba? So, kini ilisan ra po ni, submitted to the faculty and so on. You get the idea. Okay. Ako explain nyo. Dinhi, ang members ninyo, ang advisor o members sa inyo, ang advisory committee. Okay, so you write their names here. Inyo po nang ipuli ra din ha, o kaning mga major. So, ilis-ilisan na lang na ninyo. So, it will be easier, no? Okay? Dayon, dinhi, ilisin na lang po ni. Okay, sa chair sa inyo hang department. Kung asa mo nga department na nabahig. So, in your case, we will assume sa kay dili pa man niingon nga final. So, asa mo nga department. Then, kini, dili na ni director. So, ang chair, dire for example, example lang ha. Oops. Rene Jane G. Alesna, chair sa Soil and Plant Health Department. That's the name of the, it's a table. Depth na lang. Yan na lang. Then, Eva A. Agbay. Should be Dean, College of Agriculture. Okay? And so on. So, ilisa ninyo. Biographical sketch. Unsa man yung biographical sketch? This one's just a joke. Ilisa ninyo sa inyohang picture, of course. You basically describe yourself. Okay? A short description of yourself. So, it's basically an autobiography. Just enough to fill one page. And then your name here. So, ilisa na po din mo og Monica A, for example, Albios. Or you would opt to write Adriatico. That's okay. Ana. Ha. So, just one page. You cannot go 2 pages ani. I think it's okay siguro nga duha ka page, pero ako I would limit it to 1 page. But it's okay if this will reach 2 pages. So, like I said, biographical sketch is basically a description of yourself, like when you were born, where you started your education, asa mo nag-elementary, nag-high school, maybe you have some awards. So as much as possible, you put here, okay, kadtong related sa inyong field, related sa inyong pag-eskwela. So more on pagka agriculturist, more on pagka BS agriculture, more on pagka horti major ing ana. So generally ayaw na siguro hisguti dinhi ug sa imong bana asawa ing ana. So og imong first crush, first kiss kanang lambok information. No, you don't put that here. So you put here, okay, katong related sa imong field. Are we still going? Okay, I think so. So that's the biographical sketch. Typical siguro is address, birthday, where you took your elementary education, high school, then college, then honors and awards received. You mentioned that one here. Okay, so narratives here. And then next, acknowledgement. So, inyong hisgutan o kinsa tong mga tao nga mga pasalamatan. So, basically, ang acknowledgement, optional repod ni siya. You can do away with this if di yung gaganahan magpasalamat. Okay, so ilisan lang na ninyo ng template. So, unsa mo niyo, for example, magpasalamat ka first paragraph. So, imo ra nang i-highlight good. So, maingon din ka nga untahay ana din ka first and foremost. Okay, I would like to thank the Heavenly Father. Mga ingana ba? Mga typical ba? Father for all the, okay, blah, and so on. Okay? You get the idea. Then sunod, family, sunod mga kauyaban, sunod classmates, teachers, advisors, whoever nga gusto niyo pasalamatan, you put that there. Okay? Gets? Then, table of contents. Again, I want this to be very clear. Ayaw hilabti ang table of contents. Automatic ra ni siya mo change later. Okay, for example, acknowledgement. Mana diha, acknowledgement. Ako ning ilisan din he. Acknowledgement. Say, blah, blah. Acknowledgement, blah, blah. Okay? So, ako ning i-update ang table. Update page numbers, entire table. You would notice nga, nahimo na siyang acknowledgement, blah, blah. Diba? Isn't it amazing? Okay, it's now acknowledgement, blah, blah. So you do not have to do anything here. Including the page numbers, it will be updated automatically. Okay, I hope we are clear there. So right now, it's acknowledgement, blah, blah. Pero, I don't want that one. Okay, acknowledgement. If, as you can see there, it says here, acknowledgement, blah, blah. You update that one again, update the entire table, nawala na acknowledgement, blah, blah. Great. How's that? Okay? Padayon. Padayon ta. Ako lang ni i-go into details next time. Okay? So, introduction. So, background of the study. Kumbaga, ang background of the study is your teaser. Okay, so dili na nimo pa doon yung background of the study, introduction or background of the study. You put here your teaser. Okay, like tagani mo og idea og unsa ang topic about. Okay, nga imuhang gi-tackle. Nabaga ko example din here. I'm not sure if, let me see how do na ba ko wait, tita sa akong pakitaon. Ako sa taguan din ni. Mangita og example nga that I can show you for a while, ha? Murag wala naman ko yung mga kuan din niya eh. Example. Na ko'y research nga example. So, research. Aquaponics, for example. Kajat lang ha. Where is that? Check lang guys. Okay, this one for example. Okay, so introduction. So ang introduction is basically ug unsa inyohang about ang study. This one is about aquaponics. Okay, so ang akong introduction din for example is while hydroponics is the growing of crops in an aqueous medium and that aquaculture is the captive rearing of fish, aquaponics is the symbiotic combination of these two farming systems. Reference na diha walay date. So kumbaga, this is where there is a inyong introduction, background of the study. This is where you start introducing what you're working on. This is how you are going to tell your reader nga mao ni akong topic. This is where nga maghisgot si Monica about moringa, efficacy sa moringa as a foliar fertilizer. That is why, okay, mo na ni karon. That is why dili maayo nga muhangad ta sa langit unya mag-come up lang ta og problem because you need to write an introduction, you need to write a review of literature. Unsa may isuwat ninyo didto kung ang topic ninyo walay klaro. Diba? So if you just try to find these topics sa kisame, wala kay ikabutang din because you will be talking about references. So, for example, kung gi-mention, ang reference nako si ako, ang date walay pizza. Okay? Then, padayon, it is the integration of recirculating aquaculture and hydroponics into one production system. In an aquaponics system, so yung ana. Then, further, akong gibaligya. So, kini, ang sugod nga part sa akong first paragraph is basically ang introductory parts to let my reader know what I am talking about, what I am going to say. Next is, with the passage of RA 10068, okay, aquaponics has become more relevant in recent years. So now I am now talking about the importance of this particular study. So mo pud na inyo hang buhaton din So you start with a backgrounder. After that, dire mo pud na isumpay ninyo ang significance sa inyong study. In my case, tagsa ka paragraph lang kay pamub-anay maning among trabaho. Sa inyo you can make it a little bit longer. So here, you talk about the importance or the significance of the study. Why is it important nga buhaton na ninyo nga study? Anhi na karon mo gawas din ang reasons why you want to conduct that study. So like I said, most of the time, we are trying to address a certain problem. Kung walay problema ang atong gi-address, maglisod ta og sulod og something din Anyway, ato ra ning balikan later on unsay ato ipang sulod ani. Anamon ta lang ni. Then, statement of the problem. So, maghiskot na kakaron, unsa man di ay exactly ang problema. So, for example, going back din sa giskutan ni Inday Monica, effect of organic foliar fertilizer made gikan sa malunggay leaves. Okay, unsa may problema di ay nganong gi-apply man sa pepper. So, for example, maybe moingon ta nga ang current nga mga foliar fertilizers are so expensive and that malunggay leaves are readily available. And that malunggay leaves has a very high nutrient content. Therefore, I am proposing this study nga atong himuon as kuan. Pero mas lig-on ang claim ni Monica og moingon siya nga gigamit manggod ni Charlie nga gitistingan niya ang malunggay leaves sa iyahang humay, effective siya kaayo. Ako pong testingan this time sa pepper, for example. May nga na gani. So that's why it's good nga magbasa mo. This is the main reason nga naging nata mo. Hala, basa gyud, basa. So that's statement of the problem. Unsa ang problema? Then, the objectives of the study. Normally, ang objectives ninyo, you start with the general objectives and then you go into the specifics. Let me show you the objectives. Bakoy objectives. Kini introduction pa ni kini amo ang proposal gi combine na namo ang introduction og review of literature kay then objectives. Unsa may objectives? Normally ang objectives kini ang specific objectives. Naatay general objective, do na po tay specific objectives. This one are the specific objectives. So, after ma-finalize ninyo ang inyong problem, ang next na kung pangayoon is objectives. So, normally, it starts with a verb. Okay? It starts with a verb. Kung sa'yo gusto ninyong buhaton. Daghan po na kayong pwede. Mangita ko ha, Bloom's taxonomy. Kita mo Bloom's taxonomy sa mga objectives. Asa man itong mga word ni kuan ni Bloom. Wait, taxonomy PDF dira. For a while lang guys ha. Pangitaan ta mo para dili measurable verbs. Okay, kani. Measurable verbs. Na siya yung mga verbs na gigamit. So, you can look up Bloom's taxonomy. Garay. Bloom's taxonomy, download, save na ako. Show in folder. For a while, guys, ha. There you are. Okay, so Bloom's taxonomy of measurable verbs. As much as possible, you use these terms. So, ang inyong ibutang sa objectives, especially sa specific objectives ninyo, dinhing apart na design, kini, this is a verb, design, develop, okay, monitor, determine, compare, evaluate, naa na siya equivalent dire sa kang Bloom. Ayaw ng mga bogus nga mga terms nga sa kung saan kag. So, ang basic lang, para gusto lang ta makabalo, basic knowledge, list, name, recall, record, relate, repeat, state, tell, underline. Comprehension, to compare, to describe, to discuss, to explain, identify, express, recognize, restate, tell, and so on and so forth. So, kini. So, ako po ning isend sa inyo ha, siguro, no? Combine, collect. So, dapat, this should be measurable. So, naapoy explanation din here. Remember previously learned information. Knowledge. So, pwede ninyo tanaw ni. So, ako nang isend sa inyo ha. To determine, useful, create, invent, predict. So, dili ta magpataka o gamit og mga words nga lisod kayo. So, karon unsa may possible nga, for example, if we start from this, effect of organic fertilizer made by malunggay leaves applied on pepper crops. So what might be a possible objectives? Maghimo ta diri og specific objectives kunuhay. Okay? Tuntahay diri ana man ni siya. Ana dayon. Specifically this study, okay, aims to okay, 1. Okay? Determine the appropriate dosage, for example, dosage of malunggay leaves and so on and so forth. Ayan na. Compare the, di ba, efficacy of malunggay leaves something and so on. So, mura naging ana og nagway. Okay, you get the idea? Scope and limitations ug unsay mga limitations na sa inyong study. Like for example, you can only do one trial, you can only have an area of say for example 400 square meters and so on. Anyway, balikan na to ni later on para sa details, ang objectives, ang introduction, hasta po ning kasaning uban parts kung mahuman na to. But right now, we've spent so much time on the formulation of the problem. After formulating the problem, we will be spending a major chunk of our time na pod sa objectives. And then after sa objectives, mag-talk na punta sa introduction. Okay? So, scope and limit. Introduction ba ni puro ha? Then time and place of study. I don't have to explain that one. Kabalo na mo what is time and place of study. Then, review of literature. So, normally, you will talk about review of literature po. So kini dili na ni ani ilisa na ninyo. Ha? So unsa na may topic na to? Kung tahay mayngon dayta unsa may related literature sa kang Monica. Unsa tong kang Monica nga example na to? Unsa to? Malunggay. So malunggay man ang iskutan ni Monica. So unsa may review of related literature, like we can talk about uh, nutrient content of malunggay. So mo na imong subtopic, nutrient content of malunggay. Sunod would be nutrient. Okay, wait, nutrient content of malunggay leaves. Diba? Sunod, muna ni siya may tabo. Ilisa ninyo. Inyo i-discuss diha ang nutrient content. Sunod, dili na pod nutrient content of malunggay stem and bark. Something ana. Then dapat yung kay sub-topic to. Muna ipan-discuss tanan. Nutrient content of malunggay roots and fruits / seeds. Yan na. Sunod na pod. Then, lain na po nga subtopic. So, may nga din ta unsa naman pod pepper. Unsa man say, you could say nutrient requirements of pepper. So, mga na. So, this will be now ang inyong pag-organize sa inyong review of literature will be related to your topics na. Di na mo magparehas. Ani? Okay. So, unsa man rin, nutrient requirements of pepper. Say, efficacy of foliar fertilizers on pepper. So, mga ingana na. So, you will have different topics na. Basal fertilizer application on may nga na gani. So, and so on and so forth. So, this will be different topics. So, it's good. Again, nasa tawag aning the whole thing. Siyempre, do not forget to save this one from time to time. What do we call this one? Ang kining tibuok nga papel atong gibuhat. This is your research proposal or thesis outline or thesis proposal. So, we call this one an outline, pero there is still an outline of the outline. So, before you write everything, imurang kuanon good. Magsugod na sa kakini sa mga subtopics. Imo ning ihanay daan para dili ka maglibog. So, ug uban wala nay gamit, dili na nimo i-apilon dinha. So, unsa man na pod materials and methods. You could talk about here like say experimental design. O wala na kay subtopic yun din ha. Wala na kay you can delete that one altogether. Tagtangol na nimo. Dito na ka sa subtopic ug asa experimental design, sampling, for example, ano. Man, puntahay lang ni ha. Statistical analysis. Kuntahin rate. Experimental design, kuntahin rate. Treatments and treatment preparation. May nga na. So, inyo i-discuss din methods na siya. So, since this is still a proposal, future tense pa ni. So, mga will be. So, dire, isgutan na ninyo din like 5 kilograms of sa itong dahon? malunggay leaves will be collected from, and so on and so forth. Inyo na nang i-discuss din ha. Then, ikaw man sa inyohang methods, daghan na ang mga parts ng methods. Like I said, kung dili na related ang uban, delete lang na siya, it's okay na. Oh, references na, oh man na. Oh, chicken kayo. So, sunod, inig-adto na to sa ato ang table of contents. Asam tong table of contents na to? Here. So, inig-update na to ani. Inig-update na to ang table. Oh, nausab na tanawa. Kini as is raman ni siya. Introduction, maura magyapon eh. Biographical sketch, wala ni changes din eh. Cover, title page, and so on. Background of the study, objectives, scope and limitations. Review of literature na usab na nutrient content of malunggay, nutrient content of malunggay leaves, malunggay stem and bark, then nutrient requirements of pepper, yan na efficacy of foliar fertilizers and pepper, basal fertilizer application on pepper, then experimental design, treatment and treatment preparation, statistical, and so on and so forth. For a while, sabi dong. Sa MPL dong. Yates. Sige. Okay? So, yung ana. So, mo na siya. Okay, sige. Karon. So, ato na lang. Since nakasubmit na ni ang uban, I will be sending this one, this template sa inyo, ha? Okay. Please feel free to comment anytime, ha? So, ginagmay nga ginagmay nga comments, tagaan ako og comments ning horti kay una man sila mi-submit. Ako lang ning i-close, save na ko ni kuno hi. Tagaan ako ning ginagmay nga comments ni ang horti. Wait sa ning i-close ang uban para I will be sending you a copy of this Bloom's nga kuan. Okay. Okay, kini kang Mark Cueva. Ingon si Mark, tolerance of cacti to survive in wet and rainy season. Dili kay ko sure og unsa ipasabot, pero if I try to read between the lines, mura gusto ni Mark nga iyahaning bason og pila jud kaya sa cactus nga dili mamatay. So I think that's mainly the problem nga gustong i-tackle ni Mark. So I'm not sure og asa ni paingon because the way I understand, horti ka no, kining cacti wala man ni nato gitanom sa field. So dong Mark og ting-ulan nakamasitira ram ni dong, pwede ram ni ato isulod sa balay dong, di ba? Wala po siguro ta na nanom og daghan kayong cactus nga 50,000 ka cactus nga inig ting-ulan wala kay kabutangan or pwede nimong atupan. So kung moabot na og 100,000 na imong cactus nga kaang, maka-afford na po siguro kag atop ana. You get the idea? No? So, sometimes, ang ato ang mga observation is initially interesting, pero naadi ay mga approach nga that are way easier. So, osman ako ha, the way I understand aning kang Mark Cueva is, tanaw niya ang tolerance kuno sa cactus kung mo survive ba sa wet o rainy season. So, I think he wanted to experiment on applying water sa cactus o unsa kadaghan na ang kaya. Kabalo man ta nga ang cactus malata kung naay tubig. So og kabalo na ta og pila, makabalo ta siya ang tolerance para sa rainy season. Karon og atong cactus baya di biya daghan kaayo og ting-ulan dong ato lang hipuson dong. Pwede ra. So di na ta mo experiment. Nya mo ka nga og daghan day kaayo sir, ka-afford kag daghan kaayo, maka-afford kag atop. Di ba? Na. Sometimes there are practical solutions to problems. Next, si Ivy Jane. Is it effective to use MSG solution to prolong cut flowers like orchids, rose, anthurium, and other vase life? I think I already gave some comments on this. I find this one interesting. I just want to see references nga imuhang i-mention, Ivy. Ha? So pag hisgot og paghisgot og references, that would be nice. So personally, I find this one interesting. Yeah, why not? Og ang ang kanang MSG effective siya. Before sa una when I was still a student, I've heard of kanang medical ko no, medical nga tambal. I think medical is still paracetamol ilang ibutang sa cut flower para pag lengthen sa iyang base life. So I've heard of that before. I haven't heard of MSG nga gigamit. But yeah, it's worth investigating. Try to find references that support this claim. Okay? Next is Kaginalin. Effect of light and germination of lettuce. What is the effect of light on germination? Does lettuce germinate in the dark? Yes, dai. Kay normally mo germinate mo na sila natabunan o kuan guday kanang yuta. Oh, so I don't think this is worth investigating. Pero if you can make a clearer statement, I may reconsider this one. But like I said, normally ang gipangayo sa germination is normally kaning tubig if the temperature and the tubig conditions nga dunay moisture. So most of the time ilubong mo nila to sa yuta. In fact, iduot nila tabunan na to gamay. So under the soil, under a thin soil, that's almost always na ay absence sa light. So I think murag dili na gid siya ingon nga question nga pwede natong i-address. Ethel, the effects of plastic mulching in relation to supplemental nitrogen needs, moisture content, and production of eggplant. How does plastic mulch affect the nitrogen content along the mulch area? Can we secure a sufficient moisture content to crop through plant? Okay, ang kining plastic mulch dye is already proven to be effective. Kung mayroon kag percent nitrogen needs, actually ang gipugnan sa mulch, ang main purpose sa plastic mulch na to is to prevent, okay, the growth of weeds, okay, at the same time to conserve water. Mo gina siya mainly. So aron di ta magsigiguna, dili appeal sa purpose ang pag unsa man ni mohabot pasabot sa nitrogen needs in relation to supplemental nitrogen needs. So another is kung atong ibalighot ni siya sa nitrogen, kinahanglan ka og maybe a highly technical equipment to measure the nitrogen needs sa imuhang talong niya kini how effective. Okay, you have to be specific later on when you will be asking questions, ha, how effective plastic mulching will be when it comes to production. Okay, so kung may kag effective, daghan ang possible meanings. Okay, so you go back to kani kang bloom ng mga terms. Okay, in terms of effectivity, if effective unsa man, like are we talking about yield? Are we talking about sa weeds control sa weeds? Are we talking about effectivity niya sa pag-conserve og tubig o ingana? So like I said, daghan ang mga studies about this. Ang plastic mulch, Ethel, is already an accepted technology nga dugay na. I don't know, you can rephrase this one if you really like this one. Pero right now, the way I see it, wala dyan ko kita og diferensya. Monica, daghan akong comment ni imuhang work. Kang Charlie, effect of hydrogen peroxide with specific mixture of water as fungicide to succulents and cactus plant. It is effective to use hydrogen peroxide with specific mixture of water as fungicide to succulents and cactus nga plant. Can it help cactus plant as fungicide? This is interesting. I haven't come across with this. Okay. Yeah, maybe you can play around with this, but it would be good, Charlie, nga do na kay mas-cite nga reference on this one. Hydrogen peroxide is known to break down organic matter. In fact, I have used hydrogen. This is actually H2O2. Okay, mura ra ni siya tubig. Ana H2O2. Subscript ning usa. Ana ni siya. O. Ana siya mo ni siya. Ana. So H2O man ang kuan. H2O man ang tubig. Ang hydrogen peroxide is H2O2. Okay? So, oxidation actually ang iyang process. Yeah, I think it has an effect on fungus, pero it would be good if you can make it a little bit more technical, like more specific og unsa nga fungus ang imuhang gigukod kay daghan ra mga species sa fungus. Unya, I have a feeling ang agwa oxinada, okay, has negative effects on the unsa ni mo succulents or the cactus. Pero if you can find references supporting this one, yes, why not? So you can play around with this. Kakawate as kakawate leaf extract as a control on kaning mga tambal-tambal ba. Okay, ako na ba yan yung gi-raise ninyo sa una? More on kining mga patay piste, patay kagaw. This is actually plant protection. This is not horticulture. Ha? Pero pwede ra gud gihapon o wala na gid ta. So as much as possible kadtong nagplano nga maghorti mo, kaning mga leaf extract, kining agua oxinada, okay, ang dating ani is actually plant protection. Okay, kakawati, I'm not sure about this, but yeah, why not mention, try to mention some references nga effective di siya sa uban. It might be interesting if you can work on this one. Yeah, this is worth pursuing. Dayon, pero like I said, plant fruit ang dating ana niya. Dina, how much fruit yield can we get from single plant of indeterminate tomato crop under protected cultivation? Kalimot na ko aning indeterminate. Sa maning mura ning bayot ning tanom siguro ning indeterminate. I forgot about this. Let me Google that one again. Determinate tomato. Unsa man ni? Murag kulang mo siguro ning bulak. Determinate and indeterminate nga tomato or kamatis tomato. Determinate tomatoes are variety that grow to a fixed mature size and ripen all their fruit in a short period, usually about 2 weeks. Indeterminate tomatoes, unlike that hit their mature height and set all their fruit at once, indeterminate tomato varieties are vining plants that continue to extend in length throughout the growing season. This is why you will sometimes see them referred to as vining tomatoes. Ang mukatay man day ni. So, ang indeterminate nga tomato is mukatay. How much fruit you can yield under protected cultivation? I do not understand what you meant exactly with the term protected cultivation. So please elaborate further. Unya, how much fruit yields? I'm not sure og unsay imuhang treatment. Okay, when we do experiments, by the way, you need to have at least duha ka variables. Mo ni problema po ninyo gamay no kay sayo kayo ni ato ang Agri4. If you are doing statistics, natay terms nga variables. Kana bang when we say variables, these are the things that you can change or measure. So for example, unsa may akong example? Feeds og manok, pinakadali nga example. Fertilizer og yield, pinakadali. Like feeds, tagaan ako given the same feeds, tagaan ako daghang feeds ang usa ka manok. Mas daghanon ako ang feeds mas mutubo ang manok. Mas daghanon ako maayo ang feeds mas mutubo maayo ang manok. Okay? Fertilizer, in simple words lang ha. Fertilizer, daghanon akong fertilizer mas mutubo ang tanom. Mas daghan ang fertilizer mas mutubo ang tanom, mas pudako ang yield. Ang amount sa fertilizer, ang yield, ang growth sa tanom, ang growth sa manok, ang amount sa feeds, those are all variables. Ang amount sa feeds o amount sa fertilizer are independent variables. Okay? Ang growth sa manok, ang growth sa tanom, ang yield sa tanom are dependent variables. Dependent variables. Meaning, they depend on some other values or some other variables. So, ang yield, nagdepende siya sa fertilizer. So, yield is a dependent variable. Ang fertilizer is an independent variable. Kaya kita may magbuot ana. I think you get the idea. Now, in an experiment, we normally change an independent variable and make it the treatment. Okay, and then measure some other variable as the result. Okay, so going back, you change the amount of fertilizer applied to a certain crop, for example, like fertilizer level 1, fertilizer level 2 nga mas daghan, fertilizer level 3 nga mas daghan kaysa 2. So, mo na atong treatments na. Unya human atong sukdon ang yield, mo na ti atong gi-measure nga effect on the independent variable. So in the case of kaning kang dina kumaling, how much fruit yield can we get? Okay, you're talking about yield. That makes sense. No? Fruit yield. This is the independent variable. Unsa man ang this is the dependent variable. Unsa man ang independent variable or ang treatment nga atong buhaton. Like protected cultivation, I don't really understand why protected cultivation unsay buot pasabot ani. O how are you going to vary protected cultivation to make it as your treatments so that we can measure yield as being affected by maybe this one. So I'm not sure. Karohonon pa na nimo. Regina Nicole Guzman, can the application of poultry manure control the fusarium wilt in tomato? Or how effective is poultry manure to control fusarium? I think fusarium wilt seryoso kay nga problem day murag wala pong kadungog nga tae mo itambal na day. So try it. Regina, try to read some more. If you can find references on this one. Okay, ingani ni siya. Let me bring this to you bluntly. No? Ang atong pagkandak og study, dili ni siya tsamba-tsamba nga eksperimento ba nga testing nga pareha pag grade 1 na to. Right now, it's a directed effort. Dili ta magpataka kay kalas kay gasto kung wa ta ka sure. Testingi ko ninyo inom mong kanal. Kanahan mo minom og tubig sa kanal. Di gyud siguro kay kabalo mo hugaw. Di ba? So di ta mag-testing ana. So ug naay mga butang nga kabalo na taon sa resulta or if we can read it already, no? Mo na itong buhaton. So we try as much as possible to stand on the shoulders of giants. Na may gipambuhat mga unang mga tao na to. So ayaw na usbah, di ta mag-testing. So maybe Regina, di ko sure kan imuhang manure against fusarium wilt ug do na ba kay nabasahan. It would be nice nga do na kay reference nga naagian nga for example maingon siya nga effective ang tae sa baboy sa fusarium wilt. Testingan po nato ang tae sa manok basin ang tae doon ay something nga makaayo. May nga na bang reference? Dili ta mag-testing nga what if basin og I'm not very familiar with fusarium wilt o kaning poultry manure o niya. Kani pod nga topic is biased pod sa plant prot. Okay? Ana, so tanawa sa og maayo og unsa gyud niya. If I'm not wrong, I think kaning fusarium is fungus man siguro ni, dili po ko sure, or bacteria. Pwede na to i-google. But anyway, right now, I'm not sure whether or not ang poultry manure can control wilt. Okay, so pagbasa, read some more, Regina. Joyce, dagana pa rin ninyo, uy. Patay. Dagana rin ninyo, uy. Joyce, ingon si Joyce, the survival of rooted cuttings Monstera amiridium through shipment with the application of aspirin. It is effective to use aspirin to prolong the survival of rooted cuttings of... Okay, it would be good kung makasite ka og literature saying ang aspirin maayo siya sa cuttings. Then, yeah, why not? No? Onya, pwede siguro nimo applyan og different levels sa aspirin. Pwede nimo duaan day. Yes, Joyce. Pero, kung wala kay reference, like I said, ang ano man nga mag-testing pa taog wala ta kabalo jud exactly. Ang ato is we try to find a topic. There is already information about nga dili pud ta ingon nga kana ganing a shot in the dark. So, what we're trying to do is we're not trying to shoot in the dark nga tsamba-tsamba lang ug unsay maigo. Okay? We try to choose a topic nga yes, it has already been studied. People are already doing it. But we will try to find our own nga angle kay napaman po'y aspects nga wala pa gyud na mabuhat sa uban. Okay, so for example, kanang atong i-localize, it's a good start. Like this is a certain technology is already proven to be very effective in one place. Then ang imong erase nga question, why not try it in Argao? Why not try it in Dalaget? It might also be effective. Nga na, it's okay to do that. It's okay to do that. Effectiveness of cinnamon powder as a rooting agent to a cut lucky bamboo. Nga nung cinnamon powder, dili po ko sure if Adrian og doon na kay ma-mention nga literature sa cinnamon powder. Like I said, dili shot in the dark ato ang tirada ha. So katong wala pa ka submit, again, this is not a shot in the dark. Okay? Find a topic nga dool-dool tinuod. So I haven't came across nga kaning cinnamon. Well, of course, okay. One. Okay. Please be wary or please be aware nga ang inyong maestro, okay, dili suhito sa tanan. That's one. So it's possible nga dunay butang nga nahibaw-an ninyo nga wala ko kabalo. Ako by training is an agricultural engineer. Unya ako ang gieskwilahan masteral is agrometeorology. Ug diha nga mga topics bright kayo ko, pero maghisgota sa uban nga mga topics dili na kayo ko sure, pero there are a lot of things pod nga akong naagian. Pero like I said, I cannot be an expert on all the topics that you are talking about. Okay? So kung initially I'm telling you nga sayop ni, please justify basin og sayop ko. Okay? Ya sakto day mo. Mayon kung sayop ni ya sakto day mo. Di badlong ako na ani man gud sir, na mo gud mi reference na kitaan. Okay, pakit ako sa reference and then musabot ra ko. Ha? Manato ang sabot ha. So not all the time sakto ko. So I could be wrong. So please badlong ako ninyo. Next, like I said, cinnamon powder wala pa ko kabagat na Adrian. Next, Maria Teresa. Efficacy sa chicken manure on the growth and yield of chili pepper. Karaan na kay ni day. Hagbay pa taon na tong tiraw tae day. So pangita lang imuhang bias ani. Siyempre, epektibo yun ang chicken manure. Hagbay pa tong abono ana. No? So karaan na kaini nga pangita lang og laing bias. Effectivity of using aloe vera and eggshell as growth enhancers. Stem cut rows. Okay. I'm not sure about this. If you can show me literature on aloe vera and eggshell as growth enhancers, that might be interesting. And then kung gamiton po din mo ang duha Angelica, ang dating is mura na ni siya o and. So I'm not sure kung or may mo pasabot and ba kay murag ang dating ini two factors na. So timplahon ta lang ning tarong later on, or if you're using both. Kay complicated na pod kayo ang study if you will be considering duha ka factors or duha ka independent variables. So for example, you want to see the effect of, say, fertilizers and distance of planting on the yield of a certain commodity. For example, lettuce. O duha na kabuok na fertilizer na og distance, maglibog na tao kinsa hinungdan. So lahi na pud na nga design ang gamiton. So just like this one, you're talking about aloe vera and eggshells. We cannot be sure exactly og asa, but this can be refined later on. Pero first, you need to prove nga naa kay literature na kitaan on aloe vera and eggshell being used as growth enhancers or being found out to be effective on some cut flower, dili lang kay rose or whatever. Yoli, degradation and formation of fruit color in tomato in response to storage temperature. I think naa na gini siya. Lalaki ni si Yoli or babae? Isurag tawag inig die or dong. Do, lalaki ng Yoli nga pangan, babae. Na Yoli raman yun, Yoli. Rodela mapilido, babae na ka Yuli. Ay palag i-comment ko no palihog so indayon ti ka sa pagkakaron. Degradation and formation of fruit color in tomato in response to storage temperature. So I think there has been studies already on this one. Hagbay pa tao ni ang mga studies on kini post harvest pa ni. This one is klaro po ni siya nga hortig yun kini mga post harvest sa fruits and vegetables. Normally tomatoes are consumed either cooked or hilaw ditso ra, so importante ang iyang storage. So I think kani nga topic na bal-an na gyud nila og unsay eksakto nga storage temperature at the same time ug unsay epekto dito sa iyahang post-harvest qualities like color or firmness or whatever. But if you can refine this one and make it something unique or novel, then why not? By all means, buhata. Whew, I think I'm going too fast na. Mahuman kanina to. Ron Charvey, effectiveness of MSG as a fertilizer. Does MSG more effective than synthetic fertilizer using it is more effective on agriculture ground? Okay, Charvey. Dudong ni si Charvey or Inday. Um, the very reason nga wala ni siya gamita as fertilizer because dili man guni siya fertilizer. Charvey, para pang timpla man ni sa ato ang kalanon. So, di gina siya effective as a fertilizer kay og effective pa na ato na nang gigamit. It's just too expensive. Uh, Siguro na ay makuha din ha unsa may naa sa MSG. Klaro kayo na ay sodium. Kung wa ko na sayo, sodium is a microelement. Ang ato ang main nga gikinahanglan is ang N, P, ug K, ang nitrogen, ang phosphorus ug potassium mo na in large amounts nga gikinahanglan sa atong tanom. It's not sodium. So I don't think this is a very good idea, Charvey. So next, Jenaline. Comparison between topping and non-topped chili in determining fruit quantities. Does topping chili produce more yield compared to non-topped chili? Wow, kasabot og unsay gitap top chili. So I'm not sure about the term. I don't know. Maglisod pa ko og unsa ni siya. Chili topping unsa mo guni ay? Unsa man ang chili topping? Murag ipagkao naman na. So non-top chili. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what this means. Upusid sa ako sa next ha. Jenaline, wala ko kasabot aning topping sa chili. Unsa na ipaibabaw? Giselle, the effects of Cromolina odorata compost on bitter gourd. Does Cromolina odorata compost can affect the crop growth and yield? Does the application of using Cromolina odorata compost can make the bitter gourds fruit size and weight bigger? Okay. Any compost, dili lang sa Cromolina odorata, unsa man ning Cromolina odorata, ang hagunoy ba ni? Murag hagunoy man siguro ni. Dili ko sure pod. Pero or kadto ning kanding-kanding. Tigulang na tayo, di na ta kahinomdom ani mga mananapa ni. Kanding hagunoy ni kanding-kanding ama. Kamo na lay tanaw ini. Oh, basta Cromolina odorata baho ni kay odorata god. Okay? Wala lagi mo katingog as ning uban. Am I going too fast? Bisan unsa nga klase nga compost to na gyud siya effect. Lisod kayo pag compost og dinaghan, assuming nga effective kayo ni di matagbaw tag pangita og Cromolina odorata para i-compost kay para to ibutang sa palya. So maski unsa nga organic based materials nga atong iabono sa ato ang tanom, to be specific, palya, maayo gina siya og epekto. Okay, so I don't think this is a very good idea, Giselle. Imo ni mo ni siyang compost. Okay, you need to find a better slant para ma-convince ko nimo. Ako ra pud ni. So I'm not sure later on with your advisor, but right now you'll be having a hard time convincing me nga maayo ni siya nga study. Okay, next, Arlon. Effect of different doses of nitrogen and potassium on tomatoes growth and development. Thus applying different doses of nitrogen and potassium really affects the growth of tomatoes. Is there a big impact if this is going to be applied to tomatoes? Yes. Okay? Nitrogen o potassium macronutrients kini siya dong. So mao gani nga doon na tayo gitawag Arlon nga recommendation, fertilizer recommendation. Kay it's not supposed to be played around. So kung pangayuan ka og 60 kilograms per hectare, please i-apply ng 60 kilograms per hectare kay mo na gikinahanglan sa atong crop. Okay? Siyempre, huwag mo nang paubsan, maubos yun ang imuhang yield. Huwag mo nang patasan, dili na po siya uh, effective or rather mura gani siya mo plateau na mga you're just spending more kinsa na yan si kinsa tong babae si kuan katong kaganiha so kumbaga bisan pag naghanon nimo dili na gyud siya modako. Okay, yes nanay effect ang nitrogen ug potassium. The way I understand sa imong i-propose nga topic, no need na ni siya nga estudyohan. Cirilo, FPJ, fermented plant juice, provided more nitrogen to plants and could promote vegetative growth and increase the volume and size of the crops. In which way of application does it affect efficiently when applied to cabbage? Okay, FPJ or foliar. Dili ko sure kung ang FPJ is ani man guni ang sa natural farming system doon na sila recommended nga murabag fertilizer alternatives o pesticide alternatives. So ang fermented plant juice, I'm not sure nga kung fertilizer alternative ba ni siya or pesticide ba ni siya ang alternative. If i-apply siya mas pakita siguro na to ang details later on Cirilo, no? But right now naglisod pa ko grasp nga doon na ba'y kalahian kung i-fertigate siya or saan imo gani foliar spray or fertigation. You are just changing the method of application. So I'm not even sure if altogether undangon ba nimo og apply og laing fertilizer. So klaro-klaruha lang ni siya gamay basin og mas masabtan ako ni siya og unsa. See? So maybe you have noticed by now siguro nga when I looked at your topics of course are potential titles na pod later on. But right now, di isa na to sa tawgon nga title. I am looking around ug unsaon pagkandak gani, may it be an experiment or something. So ing ana nako ang ako ang pagtan-aw dili siya ing ana ka dili na testing so mo na nga medyo abtik-abtik na pugo makabantay og dol-dol ni tinuod kani layo-layo pa ni tinuod. Christine Cortez, effect of sand vine extract used for botanical pest control. Wala ko kailaning sand vine, Christine. I'm not sure what's this. Unsa ning sand vine? Would be better is if anong binigar may gawas noon. Google na ko. Mugawas ng binigar. Sand vine. What's your ring? Muti-muti? Milkweed. So I'm not sure about this, but it would be good, sand vine. One word na day ni day. It would be good kung maghiskot ka og scientific name o niya medyo plant fruit ang dating niya, botanical pest control. It would be good if you can mention kung unsa nga peste imong i-control o unsa pod nga tanom ang host ana nga peste. Okay. Kaning kang Maria Fe, awa jo kasabot ani day causes of leaf spot during rainy season. I'm not sure kung pasabot nimo ana. So, mo ni siya gitawag og lost in translation. Please ayaw taon mo pagtipid sa words ninyo kay di na ko makasabot kung sobra na kamubo. So, palihog taon kog tan-aw ini unsay but pasabot yung Maria Fe kay libog ko ani gamay. Causes of leaf spot during rainy season. John Felix, does applying Madrid cacao extract helps to control army worms in spring onions. I don't know, but if you can cite references, John Felix, this might be a good idea. Pero like I said, this is still more plant prot than horte. Eric, comparing the effect of cow manure and goat manure on the growth and yield of pichay. Okay, kaning tae dong Eric, hagbay pa ni nato nga nakita nga epektibo ni siya para sa tanom. So murag karaan na jud kayo ni. It would be good if you try to explore another topic instead of kanang magtae-tae ra tong isgutan perme. Raquel, the results or effect of organic foliar applied to anthurium plants. It is effective or not. I don't know unsang organic foliar but pasabot ni mo Raquel. If you can be more specific, that might be more interesting to read later on. So it's difficult to give a comment kung naglibog pa ko og unsay buti pasabot ninyo. Crystal, comparative growth and yield performance of pichay under shade conditions and cabbage in open field farm. Okay, kini mo perfect example. Okay, ano ni siya Crystal? Kamo puntanan bantay ni ninyo ha. Nganong ikumparar man ninyo ang pichay nga naa sa shade o cabbage nga naa sa open? You are comparing apples and oranges. So it's a no-no. It's a no-no. Unsa ko na to pag-compare kung lain-lain nga commodity ato i-compare niya lain-lain pagitag treatments. Okay? Ang science is we're trying to find order. Okay? In a lot of things. We're trying to organize information. So, as much as possible, we design experiments nga mapasayon ang atong trabaho. So, what do you want to know, Cristel? Gusto ka makabalo ang pichay ba'y maayo nga lain-lain mang treatment with cabbage? So, stick to pichay or stick to cabbage or stick to shade nga pichay and cabbage or stick to open nga pichay and cabbage. So, I'm not really sure. So, it's difficult. I've mentioned already earlier nga ang concept sa independent o dependent variable. So, klaruhan na siya. Queen Leia, in growing carrots with the use of two fertilizer sources, the organic and the other one is synthetic, which one can better help on the growth and development of carrots? Which one is more preferable? Okay, ano ni siya day, Queen Leia? Ang fertilizer, like I said, ang fertilizer nga atong gi-supply mainly addresses the nutrient needs sa tanom. So, NPK ang ato ang macronutrients na patay daghan nga micronutrients. Both ang organic ug synthetic nga fertilizers have N, P ug K. Macro lang atong isgutan. Naapod to micro pod hinoon good. Pero like I said, the crop normally needs it in small amounts. Both naa. So actually both are effective pero it could be in different forms. It could be in different forms. Pero at the end of the day, it's still nitrogen, it's still phosphorus, it's still potassium. It also has different quantities po. So for example, may usa ka sakong organic na siya N nga duha ka kabo. Pero ang usa ka sakong synthetic na siya N nga napulo ka kabo. Inga na gani. So it's more about the form, the quantity, but actually both are still very effective. Okay, so there's no point in comparing them. In fact, there have been technologies already nga gi-combine pagid ang duha because ang organic can promote the improvement of the soil pod at the same time. Okay, ang synthetics good has this tendency nga mo patay sa OM at the same time mo pa-acid sa yuta. Okay? Si Marian, daghan pa mo. Wow! Tibasunta na lang ni. Yes, kamay na lang. Kamay na lang, kamay na lang. Magmahayo niya ang uban. Ingon si Marian, in controlling weeds, usually farmers are using chemicals, especially those with a large-scale production of crops, while some are approaching the traditional practices, particularly those that are having small area for production. To help introduce the organic agriculture, Does allelopathic plant such as sunflower enough to control weeds? How effective it is in controlling weeds, or can it give an apparent solution against all unwanted plants? Okay, unsa man ako ni ha pag-istorya. Okay, in an area na itanom, kanang tanom in English na to plant. In an area na ay tanom nga atong gigamit or atong gitanom, ato nang in English crop. In an area na ay tanom nga wala na to gikinahanglan, wala na to gitanom pero may tubo, atong gitawa in English na to weed. Okay? So, ang weed ug ang crop are all plants. Okay? Some plants have this allelopathic characteristics. Now, mahitabo kung magtanom ka og allelopathic nga crop, like for example, sunflower, nga imong gi-mention, di na ka mananom og lain. Kay muila ka ng imuhang sunflower nga gitapad nimo siya sibuyas o gitapad nimo siya hagunoy. Nya ing iyahang patsyon sa iyang allelopathy ang hagunoy ra, ang sibuyas dili. I don't think nga ang allelopathic plants have that capability sa pag-ila kung unsay naa na duol niya. Okay? Yes, um, ang allelopathic effects may be effective in killing weeds, pero siya ra po imong matanom. You cannot plant other crops kay iya man patsyon para niya kutob sa tanom maduol niya iyang ihawon. Okay? So it's still quite difficult. Junrel. Nagkagamay 23 na lang. 1 hour. Sunod na po ning uban ay. Karat na akong tutunlan. Junrel. The degradation of soil decreases the crop productivity in the upland areas, specifically in Mantalongon. Yeah. Yes, you're right, pero I don't know what you intend to do. Sunod na punta, karat akong tutunan, wala ko'y access tubig diri dool. 1 hour, 22 minutes na punta, guys. Ha? So, magbabay sa ko ninyo siguro. O, sunod na po ni uban, kining last page, ato na idungan sa kuan. Okay? So, if you have questions, i-post lang sa ato ang FB group. So, in the meantime, babay sa ta, babay. Ha? Alright? Sige, bye-bye guys. See you next time na pod. Basin mag-schedule taog ing ani nga dili sunod sa atong usual nga schedule. Alright? See you next time. Bye-bye.